Ba-da-ba.
You guys are such ass.
Welcome to The Second Wall, a binge-free zone where we look at a series and discuss it in small rounds. This time we're diving Arcane Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. We can be found on most podcast social media platforms, full list of which can be found at beardyandthebeast.com. Please watch the first 3 episodes of Season 2, and then join us at the last drop to discuss the show over a pint. So, Drew!
Yes.
What do you think of Season 2 so far?
I like it.
Yeah.
Like it. It is not as... It doesn't have as much draw as Season 1 did. Getting to the end of Episode 3, I'm not sitting here going like, I need to just watch Episode 4 now. I got to the end of Episode 3 and I was like, oh, well, that was good. So, like, though I did enjoy it, so far it doesn't seem to have the same standing power as Episodes 1 through 3 of Season 1.
Yeah, I agree. Thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I think this season didn't have the same emotional hooks in the same way that the first 3 episodes of Arcane did.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's because there's a lot it needs to follow up on.
Yeah.
From the end of Season 1, and that's what it felt like. Especially the first episode, that's all it felt like, was just, and here's that little bit of an aftermath.
And I was wondering about that, like, because I wanted it to go in a different direction with new characters, because I felt the story was fairly told.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how it would impact a group of additional characters as primary. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who wanted to continue on with like Vi and Jinx and so forth, but the first season was so novel to me that I was hoping to keep that up.
Yeah.
To have more flux and change occurring. And it's just my preference is all.
Yeah. No, I agree. First thing I noticed was every single one of my predictions were thrown out the window, except maybe the military coup. I mean, we kind of got some new secondary characters that I could see picking up a little bit, like just like the rest of like the Strike Force team.
I like that. Was it Maddie?
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yes.
I don't know who Bluefish guy's name is, but
yeah. And I mean, I definitely think we're gonna see, because Maddie is the only name that I remember. The Shielder, the tank.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna be bigger. I think he's gonna be bigger in the upcoming episodes. Like just from the obvious, like walking away at the end of episode 3. Because that threw me for a loop. That was not how I was expecting that coup to happen.
Well, like I didn't expect Caitlyn to go full like authoritarian. Well, it's the thing. She wasn't Punisher because she was willing to possibly hurt the innocent, right?
That's true.
Yeah, for her to go full authoritarian, like, I'm gonna kill this person no matter what the results are. The fact that she's like flooding the Undercity with industrial smog.
I didn't. Well, yes, it's a questionable tactic. I was looking at it as like a tear gas type situation, and that's how they were kind of trying to use it instead of war crimes. Definitely questionable.
Yeah, it was. I was getting very concerned. Like, I understand kind of like this path. It's almost like she picked up where Jayce left off at the end of season 3. Just like authoritarian pushing, like the end results is what matters, not like the casualties along the way, then just pushing through that.
Yeah. Well, so this is where. So I think there's again a slight mistake in which of the council members died. I still strongly believe it should have been Jayce,
Mm,
and I think it could have been more interesting narratively by doing that as well, instead of having it be Caitlyn's mother, because Jayce at least had a connection between both Vi and Cait.
yeah.
So we would be able to see how they are handling it differently. And I think that would have given a bit more of the emotional oomph that we're feeling is missing a little bit here.
Hmm.
Because Caitlyn is completely justifiable and Vi doesn't have a say to do anything to try to stop it. In that regards.
Oh, I mean, it's not like she was even trying until, there was an innocent life at risk.
Yeah.
Like, she was full on with it to the point where it's like, oh no, these people are holding us back. Send them away.
Yeah.
It's just you and me. We're gonna do this. We're gonna kill Jinx.
Yeah. I think that's the only reason why I'm going. It's not a war crime. It's just a way to use tear gas.
Oh,
And it's because Vi was on it, so it let me suspend my disbelief a little bit around it. And it's like, then that changed.
it was just like, yeah, taking years off the populace's life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about Caitlyn, though. I'm very happy that they're kind of exploring her character more,
Yes.
and I'm very happy that the her relationship with Vi doesn't feel forced anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like bait like it did in the first season.
Yeah.
So in this one, I actually believe that they're attracted to each other, but they can't be with each other because of circumstance.
Yeah. It feels like we had the time skip that we didn't have.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, first season, it's like we've known each other 4 hours, and then Caitlyn's like, "What about us, Vi?"
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair, it hasn't been much longer, but at least Vi is reciprocating, so it actually feels like they might have bonded somehow.
Hmm.
Right?
It could be like a couple weeks at this point,
a couple weeks is probably accurate. Because,
a couple minutes.
yeah, not a couple minutes. I
So
do
funny.
yeah. There's some interesting recontextualization that happened too, though, with Cait, and it's not with Cait, with Cait's family.
Hmm.
And it's interesting to watch Cait just kind of throw it all away. It's like Cait's family is helped the Undercity live. It seems like they were there and actually were doing work for the Undercity,
Hmm.
right? Even though their mom was kind of against really trying to help them so much, it seemed. So that's interesting to see. And then, of course, Cait just throwing her legacy away
Well, doing the opposite, right?
while taking over her legacy.
Like the family's legacy to provide clean air to the
Yeah.
Undercity, and Caitlyn does the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, badass move, but like questionable. Very questionable.
Yeah, I think it's something that needed a little bit of build-up to be a little
Mhm.
more believable. I think it could have worked and then have a tipping point. It's like, you've got your strike force, I don't know, maybe not going in enforcer gear and try to be a strike force. Let's be Black
Yeah.
Ops, not SWAT. uh, but it's I understand why they didn't, because they needed to bring in our other conflicts that are brewing and setting up now.
Well, it was
So,
good. Like Vi kind of took a side seat to it all. She
mhm.
definitely felt like a secondary protag, which is good because having too much complexity with her right off the bat, especially like her emotional arc is fairly concluded at this point.
Yeah.
Like there's some loose ends, but I feel that she knows that Powder isn't there anymore. It's just Jinx,
Yeah.
which is funny because I see in the aftermath of what happened in season one, I see more Powder than at any point I did compared to season one.
That is exactly what I kind of noted as well. And I think it might be Jinx trying to put back on that mask and try to recreate things, and
Mm.
she's reaching out to weird places. Like what's her name?
Savika.
Vika.
I love that combo. Jinx and Savika are
It is
awesome.
so good. It's a nice foil, but it's like she's trying to build something there.
Well, I
In
think
what way she
Jinx,
can.
yeah, Jinx. I think Jinx will latch on to anyone that she feels can give her some sense of stability.
Yes.
And I mean, Savika's a pretty stable personality. It's very like bullheaded, straight line for what she does,
Mhm.
and she moves with purpose and with strategy.
Yeah.
But like, she's not going to be a replacement. I did
Mhm.
find it kind of endearing when Savika like blew open the fan or whatever, and then used her body to prevent Jinx and the little girl. Is that a little girl?
Yeah.
Um, from like getting blown to Kingdom Come, right?
Yeah. I
But I and that just kind of brings me to why I'm like semi satisfied with this because there is a change of who our focus is with
Mhm.
for that entire situation to be more revolving around Caitlyn than like the Vi Jinx relationship. I'm actually satisfied with.
I am too. I think it works. It does do that shift in the characters that you were hoping for,
Mhm,
and it does it without having to introduce new characters, which is really interesting.
mhm.
Like, again, I can see that we're going to be getting Savika and Caitlyn being a bit more of a focus. Uh, I think it's also interesting seeing that we were looking for a tempering force for Vi.
Mm.
Instead, we get a tempering force for Jinx.
That's funny.
Though it makes me wonder if we're going to see Vi have to go up against Caitlyn as well, right?
Well, I really wonder what Vi is going to be doing in the next 3 episodes. Because, like, will she go along with this military coup?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering too. Like,
Or will Vi potentially kind of like saddle up next to Jayce as like a ally?
yeah, is it because I think Jayce and Vi, even though Jayce is clearly inexperienced
Yeah.
with war, we had that discussion in our recap. They're more similar than you would think.
Hmm.
Like, they're, I think their morals are a lot more similar. Like, again, we know that Vi doesn't have an issue just tearing it all down. We saw that
Hmm.
when she was going after the Shimmer Labs. Which again is probably why the gassing thing didn't seem as big a deal. Like Jayce and Vi have both shown that it's like there's still that innocence level that you've gotta worry about. It's not like Vi won't hurt kids, but that's when they're very clearly not the innocent ones. And Cait's just so broken right now that that's not entering there. Vi said it very well. It's like I shouldn't have had to stop you. So that's going to be an interesting riff that we see.
Especially like Caitlyn technically took the shot.
Yeah.
Just without the was not the right target.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about like Heimdinger, Jayce, and Echo. Like, what's happened to them? Because they've directly interacted with Wild Magic Room.
Yeah.
They turn into fractals. They're like, they're on some like, they're plastered on some teenager's basement bedroom wall after they've done mind altering drugs, right?
Yeah, this is. I wasn't sure what was going to be happening with the magic, and yeah, fun. First, it's fun watching Science Bros be Science Bros.
Yeah,
I will always enjoy that. Again, showing that growth in Jayce is like, oh no, we'll hang out with the Undercity guys. This guy seems to know what he's talking about. Let's go.
that's because Science Bros do what Science Bros do.
It's true. I think I'm not thinking that they're necessarily going to be altered immediately. I'm thinking that might be a visual representation of what it can mean. Clearly, and it's clear that it didn't just affect the core.
Yeah.
Right. Which is going to make things really interesting with all of these boiling tensions right now, because clearly it's affecting all of the Hextech equipment. Like we see like a couple times, like it actually like drop Vi in her fight with Jinx as it's going wild, and which is going to give the Undercity an advantage. I'm guessing the Black Rose is another form of magic.
Yep.
Probably
that's what I figured it as.
Yeah. And probably like the true sorcerer magic, where it's got that bit more control that Heimdinger's kind of talked about as well in the season. So we're going to be seeing the Shimmer Tech, which is a bit more tried and tested, and this Black Rose magic, which again appears to be more tried and tested, and then this wild magic, and Piltover's going to go, like, I don't know, our weapons might work. Though luckily they haven't shifted fully to using that yet, so gonna have some effects, just not as much. Probably see Vi going back to her like old steampunk gloves instead.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Well, I'm wondering if they're going to come out of this wild magic interaction with some type of power.
I know Heimdinger's the character, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, we discussed in the first season, like the way that they showed Echo's ability.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
Sherlockian.
Yeah, Sherlockian, like telling the near future, looking at possibilities. So I'm wondering if like I'd like to see him come back with a semi-enhanced version of that. Like just make it 30% better kind of thing.
That was the only thing that I was thinking could happen from that.
Mm.
Because Jayce is physical.
Mm.
Again, don't know. I don't know enough about Heimerdinger's power sets to have any idea how that would show or show up. But yeah, Echo, I could see that being enhanced. Assuming that the wild magic going wild helped them.
Yeah, that's true. Could have inhibited them.
Yeah.
Live in a world where, like, coming from the shonen world, I want everyone to get buffs.
Yeah.
It's just what we do. What we do where I come from.
So speaking of the wild magic, so what are you thinking with Victor here?
Well, he definitely needed to go his own path and rediscover himself. It looks like, as always, he's just trying to help.
Yeah.
Whereas Jayce was doing things for himself.
Mm.
It seemed like even when he was trying to help, he was doing it for himself. It wasn't altruistic, right?
Yeah.
But Victor just wants to help.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can, like, suck or I guess we don't know if it's repairing yet, but repair the damage of Shimmer on all these, like, junkies in the tent city.
Mm.
Like, I'm wondering, is there an end result? Are they actually fixed? Is it temporary? I'm also worried, like, because that device had a mind of its own, right?
Yeah.
So does Victor is he in full control? Is it a two mind situation? We also my other consideration here is technically he's put wild magic runes on, like, that person now.
Mm.
Because, like, where the face was quote unquote fixed now has wild magic runes on it. Is that a good
Yeah.
thing or is that a bad thing?
Yeah. So here's my thoughts with it. It's like, I know he's definitely trying to help,
Yeah.
or he feels like he's trying to help. I'm not sure if Lab Assistant is in his head or incorporated into the hex core.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if this is going to be a similar mirror to what we have with Caitlyn, because the first season we had clear parallels between Piltover and Zon.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's gonna step in and be that here as well, and be a again road to hell paved in best intentions type
Hmm.
thing. Like, this is so easy for him to become like a cult leader, or again, now you've just spread this wild magic throughout, or so my question is how intentional that's going to turn, because I don't think it's going to turn good.
I guess in this case, because not having the Vi Jinx relationship at the forefront means that we can't mirror that or uh, show the opposite of it.
Yeah.
So right now we have Piltover, which is in ruins, which is essentially at a point of, like, military dictatorship.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to predict then now, or we can use Victor as a predictive qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in there. He's already put stability to chaos. So we're starting with our utopia.
Yeah.
So I guess then the theory would be it would degrade and go to the opposite of that. So what you said, like a cult, or maybe fall into ruin, or we create an antagonist. So we go from utopia to dystopia, where we're already at dystopia. So I mean, this predicts a happy ending for Piltover.
I mean, possibly. The question is who's gonna be in charge in the long run here? Like, it's one thing I like. It's hard to say. The show's very good at doing grays.
Yeah.
Like, in any circumstances, I'd be saying Mel's mom. She's not good. But then you see like the Black Rose thing that she's fighting with is like, this doesn't seem very good either. Is it? Is it not? Like,
the other thing that you also have to consider is how invasive Mel's mom's culture is. They're a militaristic culture.
yeah.
Like they were shown in season 1 taking over other countries.
Yeah.
So is this just one of those other countries fighting back?
Yeah.
So they're clashing with people who do magic, a witch of some sort, the Black Rose magic, which is super coolly animated, by the way.
Right.
So this could be just the end result of that military society, right?
Yeah.
They cause their own end by just messing with the wrong people.
Yeah.
they're finding out after they effed around.
Yeah. Well, and that's where the gray is coming in, right? It's like, I don't know how, like, maybe I shouldn't call it the gray. That's an actual thing.
It's what we flood in the streets to affect the children.
The muddledness of the moralities. But again, with just very sharp contrasts of clear moral compasses and how they're breaking. That is another thing I found with Cait and her moral compass kind of breaking, because basically she's, by episode 3, she's exactly the opposite of what she wanted in the first season. Right? Now, not only is she on the council, she is the council. Just this massive jump to power from someone who was basically not being treated with much respect at all.
Yeah.
And one of the things that entered my head as I was watching it, it's like, oh, this is kind of how we saw Jinx break. But just like an ordered version of that break instead. So that's kind of the other little foil that I was seeing, how that trauma is there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Cait being at the forefront, I don't think she'll be... I'm hoping they bring Jayce Echo forward in the next 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they kind of like not put Cait to the background, but like create a more stable story for her for the next 3, because she's going to be one of our primary figures in the conclusion.
Yeah.
But I don't want the entire show to be about her, because that's one of the best parts about season 1. There was like 6 or 8 people that it was about, and like how their stories mirrored each other, how they affected each other was really cool.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been very Caitlyn centric.
Yeah, we didn't really get that same type of jump like we did in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 episodes. Again, you can play with that more when we're already established.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. I think Echo is going to have to be forced to the forefront some. We kind of talked about this previously, because the Firelights are the closest thing to the Enforcers.
Yeah.
And if we're going martial law, that means that the Enforcers are going to be a larger presence. So we're going to have to see how the gangs and how the Firelights organize against that, or don't organize against it in the case of Jinx. Like, let's just watch it burn. Let's go.
Mhm.
And how that's going to play out.
I mean, the Firelights have been only good guys in the show so far.
Yeah.
Because Piltover was corrupt. Jinx and Soko's gang controlled everything in Zaun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just the Firelights.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But Piltover doesn't see them as good guys.
Oh, of course they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, authoritarians never see the freedom fighters as good guys.
That's true. I do think it's nice that we see some of the enforcers realizing how corrupt Piltover actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw that with Maddie actually convincing Vi to join.
It's just, I like that it's like, yeah, our captain actually betrayed us. Oh, okay, you know that. He actually told you that. Really good.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a lot going on without a lot going on. There's a lot more action in these first three.
Yeah, I noticed that, and that's might be why I'm less invested in these three than the first three.
Yeah.
So I kind of went on and on about it in the recording of season 1 recap. But there was always a beat in the first season, but it wasn't always an action beat. It often would trade off between a intrigue beat or a relationship beat, like an emotional beat. And in this one, it definitely felt more like action, action, action.
Yeah. And I almost wonder if, because they know that they're not doing a season 3, and they've known that to begin with. At least not with this storyline.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a possibility of them like seeding a little more than they thought, which is causing those extra action beats. Like, again, I think like the Black Rose in particular. We're not really given time for that to breathe. It's just like, yep, that's our threat. Whereas, like, we can use Shimmer, and there was a bit of a build-up around Shimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Just as the closest parallel. I think again, it's one of those things where the wrong council members died because it's not playing in a way to give us those emotional beats.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anyone else who has connection to those council members to give us the emotional resonance, other than Caitlyn. And Caitlyn is gonna go the military route. Like, that just makes sense anyway. I still think jumping to accepting full dictatorship, questionable. Not questionable, too fast is more accurate.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's something that you would see at the end of the season in preparation for the next season.
Yeah, we'd want to see how. Again, talked about this in the first one. One of my favorite Star Wars stories is the fall of one of Han and Leia's kids, basically turning to the dark side, and it's all this road to, all this good intentions, and basically turning the Republic into an empire again. And but I mean, it's like a 12-book series that does this. Like, it is a slow process.
And it never happened.
And it never happened.
Thanks, Disney.
Thanks, Disney.
The
So it's like, so I've got those beats there, and it's one of those things where I can see this is something that would happen.
Mhm.
Just, you didn't give me the build up for it.
Yeah, I do have some worries. I'm worried that this season will be more of just a action animation
Mhm.
with less emotion, less intrigue, just kind of generic run of the mill.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll have the great animation and the great music, but without having the full-fledged set of beats.
Yeah.
We'll see, 'cause Mel's mom is there, and it's obvious. Like, when I saw her cutting the Gazon girl's throat, uh, during the attack, I was like, You planned this, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Like, I already knew that she did the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they are gonna do more intrigue there, or if it's I guess the best thing that they could do is the next 3 episodes should be like a covert fighting against this Black Rose.
Yes. Yeah, we need to be moving to now we need to step back and go into the intrigue a bit.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that Mel's mom is not where I thought the intrigue was gonna be coming from. But, yeah, it's just yeah, I think there's gonna be some of the intrigue somehow with Mel's mom and with our tank.
Mhm.
Vi is I'm not sure what side she's gonna fall on there. And I think we're gonna see Science Bros being more Science Bros.
Yeah, Team Science, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanna see more about Echo.
Yeah. They did have a lot more music in this one, didn't they?
Yeah, but
It worked.
it felt right.
Yeah.
Like, at no point did I get pulled out. At no point was I like, "Oh, this is a song? I'm hearing a thing right now."
Mm,
The one time I did recognize that there was music, I went, "Oh, that really matches well to the scene."
yeah. I think that's one note that I had. It's like I think it'll be interesting to see if I think that's where we can get an emotional beat from Vi
Mm.
again. Just with that like loose parallel with Jinx and Caitlyn. Is Vi gonna be thrown into a conflict of like, is she gonna be able to save Caitlyn where she couldn't save Vi or where she couldn't save Jinx?
Oh, yeah, that'd be a fun kind of story direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder about that. 'Cause she's also someone, though she acts independent, does latch on as well, just like Jinx.
Yeah.
Will she even try? Does she I mean, I don't think Vi thinks Caitlyn is far too gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she's yeah, I can't see her thinking she's far too gone yet. But it'd be an interesting it'd be interesting to see. It's like, oh, she waited too long with Jinx, and look what happens. Could be an interesting conflict.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's a concern because I think Caitlyn's in the point right now where if Vi pushes too hard, it's just gonna push Caitlyn away.
Yeah, but if
So
she doesn't push
maybe
hard enough, it'll push Caitlyn away.
yeah, I'm wondering if she kinda has to stay in the wings, trying to be the
Yeah,
conscience
yeah,
on Caitlyn's shoulder.
yeah. Which is funny because we figured Caitlyn would be the one tempering Vi, not the other way around.
Well, I mean, I said this before, what we were watching, was it yeah, it was The Faculty.
Mm,
Um, so Vi's character is not actually all that complex.
yeah,
Um, it's her relationship to Caitlyn and her relationship to Jinx that are complex and make her attractive as a character, like,
mhm,
to think about and to become invested in. Uh, but she is very one-dimensional. So right now, towards her sister, she's like, "No, I'm gonna defeat my sister. I'm gonna remove her from the equation, because she's not my sister anymore, I guess."
Yeah.
Uh, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how they've developed her, and that's, I think, a mark of good story writing. It allows you to fill the kind of gaps. You can make judgments based on her character, based on um, like how she interacts with Jinx and Caitlyn.
Yeah.
But she is very one-dimensional. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now.
I don't think one-dimensional is what I would use. I think she's very set. Again, she is the stoic. She's the rock that the rest of the show is kind of going around. I think she can feel more one-dimensional when we've got these massive swings in characters again, especially when we look at Jinx and Powder.
The thing is, like, even a stoic or rock-like character can be complex,
Mm.
but she inherently is not.
Mm.
They didn't write her to be,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
Yeah.
I think she's a good character,
Yeah.
but again, she's more of a passenger on the ride than
Yeah.
forming the tracks and being the vehicle.
Yeah. She's what we need for the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing where, right, much like tropes aren't bad, a one-dimensional character isn't necessarily bad. And that's what I was kind of attacking. Is like, but it's not a bad thing.
I didn't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I needed to get there. Look, you laid the tracks down for me. It took a little bit for me to follow that one line.
Much like Vi, you are.
Yeah, I don't think we've got like other like specific things to kind of jump in.
I think we covered most everything. We just
Yeah.
need to see how it develops at this point. I
Yeah.
personally think they're in a delicate point in the series right now. How
Mhm.
they handle the next 3 episodes will determine whether or not season 2 is good,
Yeah.
because if they continue exactly like they are, I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
Like, bring back some of the intrigue, bring back in more of the emotional beats, and even if, like, I'd prefer the emotional beats be divorced from, a romantic relationship, but if that's the only track they have to bring in the emotional beats, then do it.
Yeah. Agreed. Uh, yeah. Bring back those beats. I think there's enough set up there for it to happen.
Mhm.
It's just how will they play it? Because then I guess there's still going to be the chance of Victor and Jayce emotional beats that just haven't formed fully yet as well. Especially if Victor does become more cult leader-ish.
Well, we see. I definitely think you've probably nailed his progression of, uh, the path to hell is paved in good intentions.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and I'm hoping we're not looking for an Angela cut.
Well, I mean, in this, technically speaking, Caitlyn would have been our Angela from the first season, and they're giving it to us, and it's okay, I guess.
No, because Caitlyn was never the more interesting one. We always saw the storyline with Angela.
We
We
do.
specifically said we weren't getting that with Caitlyn.
Does that make Echo Angela?
Yes.
Well, that's funny. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I guess join us next week as we do episodes 4 through 6. We'll see where it goes.